Welcome, my name is Mary and I'm the knitting designer and podcaster behind Kino Knits. This is a tutorial video meant to help you assemble the pieces of your Dumpster Fire 2020 ornament, which is one of my designs. There are a few different places you can find it, but the primary ones are kinoknits.com/shop and the Kino Knits Ravelry store. And if you look just below this video, you will find links to where you can get both of those. So for this project, I have a sample here in Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper, which is a fingering base. But you can knit this ornament in any weight and you'll just get a different size ornament. So here is a fingering weight. This is a worsted weight base. This is Wonderland Yarns March Hare. And I'm going to show you how to put a lot of these little flames together. So I've already knitted all the pieces. I have gotten them wet and squeezed them gently in a towel to dry and then pinned them out to dry overnight. So let's get started putting them together. So now it's time to sew together our pieces. You're basically going to make 3 stacks of flames. You're going to have a big one in the back, contrast color 1, a middle-sized one in the middle, contrast color 2, and a small one in front, contrast color 3. You also had instructions for outside flames and central flames. The central flames are longer and taller, so make sure you keep all your tall central flames together and your outside ones together. So the pattern has you leave long tails for each of your patterns, and so just starting with the smallest flame, I'm going to take this top strand and thread it onto a tapestry needle. And then I'm going to take it and stack it neatly on top of the medium flame. I'm lining up the bases here, and I will just use the tail to sew right through to the back side. And then I'm going to kind of gently grab pieces of that front flame, but not going all the way through the fabric, but just grabbing it from the back side and sort of tacking it down into place. This doesn't need to be particularly neat on the back side because the large flame is going to go behind this one. So I'm going to tack it down and then just sort of weave my end back in through the rest and cut off the extra. And there I have those 2 pieces joined together. Now I'm going to do the same thing with contrast color 2, stacking it onto contrast color 1, the largest flame. I will stack them so that the bases line up, and I have it centered, and I will just sew right through to the back of this flame. Now, this will be the back side of your ornament, so it's really up to your personal preference how neat you want the back to be. If you want to be more delicate, you can try to sew in between the layers and not let too much of this contrast color 2 show on the back. But it is the back of the ornament, so it's up to you how precious and careful you want to be about it. I am making sure not to go all the way through to the front because I don't want that visible from the right side of my ornament. And once I've got all those pieces tacked down, I'm just going to kind of weave my end back in along that same path to secure it. Cut off the tail. And now here I have a stack of flames. These tails at the bottom I will use to help put it inside my dumpster. So I'm going to do all 3 like this. Once you've assembled all your stacks of flames, you should have something looking like this. 3 stacks of 3 with the the one in the middle being taller, and you have your dumpster fire with the year already duplicate stitched on it. If you want to know how to do this, I have a tutorial video for that as well. Just look in this same Kino Knits YouTube channel and look for duplicate stitch. So for these, they should look like this. You should have tails going out of the top of the contrast color 1 large flames, and then you should have a tail for all 3 colors coming down here at the bottom of these flames. And I like to start on the outside flame, and I just pick the longest tail that I have, and I go ahead and thread that through a tapestry needle. And then again, starting with the outside flame, I'm just gonna try to nestle it into my dumpster in a way that the base is hidden. I want it almost poking out, but I do want it covered by this dumpster. And with my tail here, I'm going to hold this very carefully in place, and just using this tail, I'm going to sew this into the dumpster. So now I'm on the back side, and again, it's up to you how neat and tidy you want this to be. It's going to contrast with the dumpster. If you don't care about it being on the back side, then just go ahead and sew. But if you do, you can kind of go back into that same spot and just work on catching just the back part of the flame and then tacking it to just the inside of the back of the dumpster. And then you're not going to have too much showing here on the back. So I go ahead and do that. I'm grabbing pretty much through this flame, not all the way to the front, but more than just the back large flame. And I'm just sewing it to the back of the dumpster. So once I've done that, it's at least secured to the back here, but now the front can dip down. So I am actually going to go ahead and sew a bit through the front of the dumpster as well. And once again, I don't want to pull this yarn all the way through the front because it will contrast. I'm just going to try to catch the inside of the front of this dumpster so that it doesn't show through. And again, tack it to the flames. And so I'm just going to make sure that that goes up over that piece. Once I've got that done, I'm going to weave in this end so that it's not showing. And of course, I've got 2 other ends here from the other flames. You can weave them in, or you can just kind of cut them short, not so short that they're going to pull out, but short enough so that they don't hang out the bottom of the dumpster. Next, I would recommend doing the other edge piece. You're going to do exactly the same thing over here. And then I would put in the center one. The center one, you can play with it. You can decide if you like it overlapping to the front of your outside flames, or if you like it better layered like this. I kind of like it in the front like this. But I'm going to go ahead and tack all those pieces in. So once you've installed all 3 of your flame stacks, you're going to have something that looks like this with the 3 tails out of the top of the large flames. This tail you can just go ahead and weave in to the back side, so that's not going to be visible. And for these other 2 off the tops of the outside flames, you're going to tie them together in a simple overhand knot to make a hanger. So I'm just going to take these and I'm going to tie them into a knot. Before I cinch it down, I'm going to kind of make sure it's centered, make sure it's about the length that I want it to be. Tie those into a knot, and then just take scissors and cut off near the top of the knot. And that is going to be how I hang my ornament. So you are all done. Congratulations. I hope that your 2020 has not been too much of a dumpster fire And even if it has, we can commemorate it in this safe and festive way. Thank you so much for knitting along with me with this project. I really appreciate it. For more of Kino Knits, if you want to find out about all the newest patterns, new releases, and the very best deals, then you can go sign up for my newsletter at kinoknits.com/newsletter. Otherwise, please check out my site at kinoknits.com. I have a lot of other great knitting patterns to share with you.